The first real adventure, though, was probably my first journey back to India. Now, if we see Heathrow today, with Terminal 5, debates about a third runway and all this sort of stuff, there was one runway when I first flew from Heathrow, and there were 2 Nissan huts. And in essence, what happened was all the passengers, whether they were departing or arriving, were in one Nissan hut, probably 80 feet by 50 feet, something like that. And all the luggage was in the other one. And I flew to India. It took 3 days in a BOAC Stratocruiser. 24 of us in the plane, 4 at a table, linen, proper china, real cutlery, 2 air stewardesses, and literally every hour to 45 minutes this plane would come wheezing out of the sky to some new destination. And for me it was just the most amazing sort of 3 days. Flew Heathrow to Paris, Paris to Geneva, Geneva to Rome, Rome to wherever, and then we overnighted in Beirut, which is fantastic. My first experience of Beirut taxi drivers, where they just put their right foot to the floor and their left hand on the horn and their right hand they were smoking. So huge excitement for a young lad like myself who'd seen this sort of thing in India, but where there was only one car every 20 miles. Well, in Beirut this was slightly different. Fell in love with more air stewardesses on those sort of trips than you could shake a stick at, even though I was only 10. And we would then eventually make our way across India and get to Calcutta, where we would stay with some very great friends of my father's. He, Bob Wright, became a legend in India. He was in the colonial service and then he went into tea and coal, predominantly coal, and ended up as the secretary of the most extraordinary place called the Tolly Gunge Club. And the Tolly Gunge Club in India was the ultimate colonial club. Polo, horse racing, golf club, and the Barasabs. And rather like Happy Valley in Kenya, I'm sure there were many entertaining events that went on there. But if you go to the Tolly Gunge Club now, you will see the current generation of Indian hierarchy behaving in exactly the same way as my father and his generation behaved in. And they have maintained all the old traditions of Tolly, as it's well known. Calcutta, a seething mass of humanity. Even then, gosh, how many people is it now? I don't know. Someone told me 52 million the other day. I could believe it. It was a clamour of noise and smells and huge sort of drama happening on every street. I learned more about the caste system in the days that I used to spend in Calcutta in comparison to living out in the tea plantations way up in Assam, which was another 3 hours on an aeroplane. And Calcutta was my first sort of taste and experience of the juxtaposition of the hugely privileged and the deeply underprivileged, which I have to be honest, I was not ready for. And I think I probably started to side with the underdog then, rather than the fact that I thoroughly enjoyed my privileged life. I can't deny that, but it gave me a view that you had to get under the skin of people and really get to know them if ever you were going to, as it turned out, lead them subsequently.